This week's parsha for the Chutznikim, those that are in Chutzlaretz, is Parsha Shmini. And in Parsha Shmini we have what's called the kosher foods. I usually ask at least once a year, where in the entire Tanakh does it say kosher? Kasher. It's interesting that this is one of the staples of Judaism, and it's not mentioned in Chamisha Chumshei Torah, kasher, the way it is. It's only once mentioned in Tanakh, and I hope everyone remembers where, but I won't give you the answer yet. But more importantly is, what's the concept? Why is it so important? Why is it one of the staples of Judaism, the foundations of Judaism? And I'm going to share with you, a holy neshama last night came over to me and said, Rebbe, I had yain nesech and I want to do tshuva. And what a special neshama. First, it wasn't pa yain nesech, it was tam yainam. Those that just finished Masechas Avodah Zarah, there is no much of real yain nesech unless you go to India and different places. There you probably could find wine libations. The shah is what to do. So it reminded me of a beautiful story. It took place about 23 years ago. I was learning in Migdash Melech in those days. I was teaching in Migdash Melech, and there was a young man who came, mamish, white like snow. And he came and he told me, he said that he ate chametz on Pesach. He was totally, mamish, didn't know what to do in himself. How did he eat chametz on Pesach? Because Nebuch used to have, I don't know, hopefully they don't have this today, the tam-tam crackers. Those remember the green and the red. I haven't seen them in a while. So there was the chametz one, and then there was kosher for Passover once. And they didn't change the box so much other than putting kosher for Passover, and by accident, he ended up having the ones that are chametz, and he wanted to know what to do. And then I remember there was a halach and Shulchan Aruch. Shulchan Aruch says actually the two places when it comes to someone that does as oiver, transgresses a chiyuv kares, what to do when it's complicated. It's about 40 fasting, Mondays and Thursdays, not a simple thing. But at that time, the big tzaddik of Scheinberg, Zichrono Livracha, was in Brooklyn in Flatbush. So I went to speak to him after I researched and I looked and I was trying to do what should I tell the person who was oiver b'shogeg. Anyway, I didn't want to tell him to do something that he shouldn't be doing. I went to Rav Scheinberg and he said, in his tzitkas and his righteousness, he was sitting there learning, and he was learning his mishnayos, and he was mamash kula Torah kula. If someone that wants to know what a tzaddik looked like, Rav Scheinberg Zichrono Livracha, there he was, and I remember I'm telling him exactly what happened, and he says the following words: "B'chesed ve'emes yichupar ovon." That was it. In kindness and in truth, a sin will be forgiven. And I took from that he's referring to the Gemara Maseches Brachas. He didn't explain, but in the Gemara Maseches Brachas says b'chesed ve'emes. Emes is Torah, chesed is chesed. That means in a person at this generation, perhaps what he was telling me is that in this generation he's not a person to fast 40 days is probably not going to happen. And therefore he should do kindness and he should learn Torah. So I was thinking for a few seconds, and I told this neshama last night. He said, I want to do something. I said, look, it's not a chiv koros, it's a lav. If anything, it's an isur d'rabbanan, if it's tamina. But I said, listen, it's Parsha Shmini right now. Learn the Parsha really well. It's the Parsha of eating kosher. Learn it really well. But I want to add, why is it that kosher is so important? So the chinuch already says, we once said this, it's not exactly the lashon that he uses, but it's the concept. You are what you eat. But more than that, hechsha means to prepare yourself, to make yourself ready and susceptible to receive the Torah. When we make our bodies pure and ready, we're making our kelim, our body is a kli, it's a receptacle, to receive the Torah that's so holy. That's eating kosher. And that's why it's so important. How we should be zeicha, that everything that goes into our mouth should be pure. And sometimes you got to daven, siyata dishmaya, that even with all the kashrus and everything, Hashem, please make sure we keep our bodies pure. And this way the Torah could go into us and also be pure and purify, like Chazal say, the Torah purifies, the mitzvahs purify us. Have an amazing, amazing day.